Okay, let's dive into something truly extraordinary today, a condition that really makes you rethink what the human brain is capable of. We're talking about Savant Syndrome. It's a world where you find this incredible, almost unbelievable genius in the most unexpected places. So let's get right into it.
Now, when I say savant, chances are this is the first image that pops into your head. Dustin Hoffman's incredible performance as Raymond Babbitt in Rain Man. He was this amazing character with just astonishing mental abilities. But here's the kicker. He wasn't real.
And here's what's so mind-blowing. As amazing as that character was, the real-life stories of people with Savant Syndrome are, believe it or not, even more incredible. Their abilities truly push the limits of what we think is humanly possible. So let's get on the same page. What exactly is Savant Syndrome? Let's break it down and get a really clear definition. All right, here's the official definition from Dr. Daryl Treffert, who's a leading expert here. It's this incredible paradox, right? You have a person who is dealing with some pretty serious developmental or mental challenges, but at the same time, they have this specific, extraordinary talent. It's this island of genius that just seems completely out of place with their general abilities. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. There is a very strong link to autism. And I want to be clear, not every savant is autistic, and not every autistic person is a savant. But look at these numbers. About 1 in 10 people on the autistic spectrum show some savant skills. Compare that to the rate in other groups with developmental disabilities, it's way, way lower. It's a huge difference. And this right here, this is the key. No matter what the skill is, whether it's music, art, or math, underneath it all is one single, powerful, unifying trait: a massive, incredible memory. It's often described as just automatic and deeply literal, but it's the common thread that connects every single one of these cases. So you'd think the possibilities for these skills would be endless, but what's fascinating is that they almost always fall into one of these 5 specific areas. You've got musical genius, often with perfect pitch. You have jaw-dropping artistic talent. Then there's this really unusual one, calendar calculating, like being able to tell you the day of the week for any date in history. And of course, lightning-fast math skills and these incredible mechanical or spatial abilities. But it's really important to know that Savant Syndrome isn't like a switch that's just on or off. These amazing abilities exist on a whole spectrum, from things that are relatively common to skills that are just extraordinarily rare. Let's break it down into these 3 tiers. So at one end, you have splinter skills. This is like an obsessive preoccupation with memorizing things: sports stats, maps, license plates, that kind of thing. Then you move up to talented savants, where the skill is much more developed and really obvious to everyone. But then you have the prodigious savants. Their ability would be considered genius level in anybody, disability or not. And get this, our source estimates there are probably fewer than 100 living prodigious savants in the entire world. Okay, so all of this leads us to the million-dollar question. How on earth does this happen? How can such a profound ability live right alongside a significant disability? Well, let's look at the leading theory. So to get the theory, we need a super quick lesson on the brain. Now, this is a simplification, but generally, your left hemisphere is the boss when it comes to things like logic, language, and step-by-step thinking. The right hemisphere, that's more associated with nonverbal, concrete stuff, like art, music, and spatial awareness. Sound familiar? Right. So the leading theory goes like this. In many savants, there's some kind of injury or dysfunction in the left hemisphere of the brain. So to make up for that damage, the right hemisphere kicks into overdrive and rewires itself in a massive way. It's a phenomenon sometimes called paradoxical functional facilitation, which is a fancy way of saying that damage to one part of the brain can actually unleash a hidden ability in another. It's wild. And this is the form we see most often. The savant skills start to show up in childhood, and they're connected to a developmental disability that's been there from birth. It fits that left brain injury model right from the very beginning. But then, there's this, the acquired savant. And honestly, this is just astonishing. This is when savant-like skills suddenly appear out of nowhere, sometimes late in life, in a totally neurotypical person. It can happen after a head injury, a stroke, or even dementia. It kind of suggests that these incredible abilities might just be lying dormant inside of us all. Now look, it's really easy to just write these skills off as a kind of perfect robotic mimicry, like they're just human tape recorders. But the research is showing that something way more profound is going on.
Just take a look at the incredible story of Leslie Lemke. When he was 14, he heard a complex Tchaikovsky concerto on TV for the first time, and he played it back perfectly. That's pure replication. But then, over the years, he started getting bored with just copying music. He began to improvise, and now he creates and performs completely original songs. That is an amazing journey from just mimicking something to true, genuine creation.
In this journey, this evolution, it has forced scientists to completely rethink everything they thought they knew. I mean, listen to this quote from Dr. Trefford himself. He's admitting that his own original view was wrong. He now sees that savants absolutely can demonstrate real creativity, which makes us ask all sorts of new questions about where creativity even comes from in the first place. So, beyond the sheer wonder of it all, what are the lessons here? What can this unbelievably rare condition actually teach us about our own brains and our own potential? Well, for people with Savant Syndrome, the big takeaway is crystal clear. Don't ignore the talent, train it. We've learned that by focusing on and nurturing this island of genius, other skills don't fade away. In fact, that talent often becomes a bridge, a kind of conduit that actually helps improve social skills, language, and independence. And for the rest of us, while the lessons are just profound, Savant Syndrome is powerful proof of the brain's incredible ability to change and rewire itself. It shows that an injury can sometimes release potential, not just take it away. It totally challenges our old-school ideas of a single IQ score. And maybe most importantly, it shows us the immense power of encouragement and support in unlocking what a person is capable of. Which brings us to our last, really thought-provoking question taken straight from the source material. When you see how these skills can be unlocked by an injury or a disease, it forces you to wonder, what untapped potential is just sitting there, dormant inside our own brains? It's a fascinating and kind of humbling question to think about. Could a little Rain Man reside perhaps within us all?